So I just want to start off by thanking you for coming and taking some time to talk with us today. What can you do about the cold weather? I just want to start off with that because it's cold all over this country.
I told someone earlier today that a 27 below day in Iowa is better than any day in Washington, D.C. It's good to be back.
I was told to ask about that first thing, so I wanted to start off with that. So let's kind of start off with the top thing that is on people's minds. The impeachment just wrapped up. What are your thoughts on that second impeachment process and where this country goes from here?
Right. Well, one, and I've made this very clear, that I do believe this second impeachment process was unconstitutional. The entire point of impeachment is to remove, when it's in the case of a president, remove a sitting president from office to protect the country from harm. This president was not sitting when we went through the trial portion. He had already been removed from office by attrition. We had a new president, so I do believe it was unconstitutional. We need to come back together as a nation, Republicans, Democrats, independents. We all need to start working together in the spirit of bipartisanship that President Biden talked about on his inauguration day. We need to take that and actually put it into action.
And the Senate is pretty much split 50-50 right now. So what are your thoughts moving into this Biden administration with a Senate split right down the middle?
Well, it will be more difficult. I'll acknowledge that. But we have to work that much harder than with our colleagues across the aisle. But they also need to understand that President Biden made it clear that he wanted to be a president for all Americans. That includes the 50% of us in the Senate that are Republicans representing red states, red districts. So we need to start coming together. He needs to practice what he's preaching and make sure that they are working with Republicans and making sure that we're coming up with legislation and policies that benefit all Americans, not just the people that voted for him.
Have you seen that thus far with the Biden administration? I know it's only been a few weeks in, but have you seen that thus far?
I have not, unfortunately, and I am sorely disappointed about that. I had a little bit of optimism. Of course, I supported President Trump, but a little bit of optimism when I heard him say that he wanted to see unity and bipartisanship. We have not seen that yet, especially as you look at the number and the types of executive orders that President Biden has been signing, where it just simply looks to us that he's trying to wipe away any solid policy that came from the Trump administration.
I want to turn the tides to COVID-19 a bit, and there is talk of another stimulus bill coming through. What do you hope to see come out of that stimulus bill? I know there's been various talks on both sides of the aisle about what needs to come out of this third one and what Americans need.
Right, and there's a lot of different opinions on what should be included in the COVID package. But bottom line, what I say is it should be focused on COVID relief. It is a COVID bill, not extraneous liberal policies that folks on the left just want to throw into a bill. It does need to focus on relief for those businesses that have been hardest hit, for the families and individuals that are really struggling through COVID-19. It needs to focus on purchasing more vaccinations from these companies and making sure that they are quickly distributed to all Americans. So there's a lot that we should be working on, and I hope that we can be working on together.
The ag industry has taken kind of a big hit in this last year, and we don't know what 2021 has in store. What do you hope to see for our Iowa farmers, our Iowa ag businesses coming up in this new year?
Well, first and foremost, we really want to make sure that this administration, the Biden administration, is supporting the renewable fuel standard. That is so important to our farmers, our biofuels producers. So that is first and foremost. But then making sure that we are supporting the ag industry as we're moving through COVID-19. So if there's a way that we can be supportive, we need to be supportive and ensure the safety and security of our food system.
It's not just ag. I mean, we've had so many small businesses and a lot of the Iowa workforce that has just taken a beating, you know, through COVID-19. And we're coming up on a year of the first cases here in Iowa. What do you hope to see post-COVID for the Iowa workforce?
Well, post-COVID, we want to see full employment. I mean, we are getting there. We do have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the United States right now, but we want to see moms and dads going back to work in a way that is as safe as possible. We understand that there are still some repercussions from COVID out there. So making sure that we can safely get our kids back to school full time, learning in their classrooms, making sure that we have child care facilities that are open and available to support those moms and dads as they're returning back to work. But again, making sure that we have vaccinations available for all of our workforce. Women have been hit hardest through COVID. They are the ones that have lost the brunt of the jobs, whether small businesses or otherwise, because they are the primary caregivers for their children. So if we can get the kids back to school, get those child care centers open, get everybody back to work, I think we will have a strong economy here in Iowa and all across the United States if we can just get that implemented.
A big part of that is that vaccine process and getting not only Iowans but Americans vaccinated and get those 2 doses in. What has the Senate been doing to kind of help push that along, because it has kind of been a slow rollout for vaccines since the start of this?
Absolutely. And first and foremost, our role in the federal government through Operation Warp Speed, make sure those vaccinations were developed. And that was a significant step forward in the fight against COVID-19, is these number of pharmaceutical companies that came forward develop that vaccination, but now we need to make sure that we're purchasing enough, making sure that we are rapidly pushing those out to the states. Now, the states do have responsibility on how they distribute in their own state boundaries, and we are working, of course, with Governor Kim Reynolds, working with the folks at Operation Warp Speed to make sure that we're getting the right number of vaccinations for our Iowa population, and then making sure that the state government can get those distributed to the counties.
There's a lot of Iowans that are hesitant to get the COVID vaccine shot for a variety of reasons. What do you say to them who maybe say, I'm not ready for that yet?
I would say do it. That is Joni Ernst's personal opinion. But I would encourage them to speak to their medical providers, their physicians, talk to nurses. It is vitally important that if you want to protect your family, your loved ones, protect yourself, that you go that step of receiving the vaccination. I know that there are people that will not want to receive it. That is their personal choice. But I would encourage folks, if you're hesitant about it, please talk to your medical provider.
Have you received your vaccine yet?
I have, and it was really important for continuity of government. Most members of Congress have been vaccinated now, have received their second doses. We interact with so many people doing our jobs and traveling as I do across the state of Iowa, not only to show that the vaccine is safe. I step forward to get mine, but also I want to protect the people that I'm interacting with.
Well, aside from COVID-19, we know that's going to be a big part of this next year. What else is on the board for the Senate for 2021?
Yes, well, a number of items that have come up already today as I'm doing the 99 county tour. We have talked about infrastructure and how important it is that we are really building up our roads and bridges, especially here in Iowa. That is vitally important to us. Rural broadband and building that out. We see a lot of telehealth, working from home, learning from home. It has really emphasized the need for broadband. So I think that will be an important push ahead of us, but then also, as I mentioned before, the renewable fuel standard and making sure that our Iowa economy is strong, whether it's through our industry, whether it is through agriculture, you name it. We want to be part of that and show the rest of the nation that we are still leading the way.
Anything else I didn't touch on that you maybe want to talk about?
I think that's good.
Perfect. Well, thank you again for sitting down with us today.
Thanks so much. Thank you.